Thank you so much, Emily, for introducing me. And thank you so much to Casey and the Chamber for letting me join you all today. Thank you to Treasurer Ma for letting me join today. And thank you all for joining us today as business owners. I'm sure that you all have a great deal going on right now. And I'd like to assure you that we at CalSavers know that many employers are facing unprecedented challenges right now. And appreciate you joining and allowing me to join, to let you know that CalSavers is committed to supporting employers by offering extra support and flexibility. And it may seem at face value that we don't exactly fit in on a webinar about COVID relief programs, but we did have some important updates that we wanted to share with you today. So my goal is to give you a brief overview of the background of the program, tell you a little bit how it works, and and tell you what the employer's responsibilities are, and then talk a little bit about how we at CalSavers are responding to the COVID situation. So, if you don't mind clicking my slides, thank you. So, really quick background, we like to start by talking about, what the situation is in California that exists that led the legislature to creating the CalSavers program. And what it really comes down to, next slide, please, Noah, is that nearly half of Californians are on a trajectory to retire into economic hardship. And we think that a key driver of that is that there's 7.5 million Californians who are going to work every day like you and me, but are unable to save because they lack access to a workplace-based retirement savings program. And that's particularly important because the research shows that workers are 15 times more likely to be saving and be on a path towards retirement security if they have access to a workplace-based savings vehicle. So with that situation in mind, the legislature passed Senate Bill 1234 back in 2016. Now go ahead with the next slide, please. One more. And it really did a couple of important things. I think first and foremost, the really important thing is to let all of you business owners know is that there is a new mandate on employers. And I know this isn't the best time to be talking about such things, but it is what it is. So going forward, any business in the state with at least 5 employees is going to need to either offer a qualified retirement plan from the existing market. We do have a list available on our website of all the different private sector plans that qualify for an exemption, or register for our program and facilitate your employees' access to our program. Second key feature of the program that we always like to talk about is that it does feature automatic enrollment for employees. It is completely voluntary for them because they can opt out at any time and opt back in. But it is important that employees know that if they don't opt out within the first 30 days, they do get automatically enrolled. Another important thing is if you are either self-employed or a contract worker, gig worker, we did open the program for individual enrollment. So folks can just go to our website and sign up for their own account anytime they want. Number 3, we're designing the program as a public-private partnership. We've contracted with 3 private sector financial firms to manage the day-to-day operations of the program and do all the investments. So you get the expertise of these private sector financial firms, but with state oversight from a 9-member public board chaired by the state treasurer, Fiona Ma. And then 4th key feature that I always like to talk about, we're building this program at 0 cost to the state taxpayer employer. It's going to be completely self-sufficient based on the fees that we charge participants in the program. So that we won't have to charge the taxpayers or you as the employer. Next slide, please. So going back to that first point is that there are some requirements, and this is an example of how we are trying to adjust to the situation. So depending on the size of the business is what determines your registration deadline for the program or your need to secure a private sector plan for your employees. With businesses with more than 100 employees, the original deadline was June 30th of 2020 of this year. But, given the situation, knowing that employers are very focused on their immediate needs, trying to keep the doors open, we are extending the deadline to September 30th of this year. But the next 2 deadlines remain intact. If you have more than 50 employees, you'll need to either sponsor a plan or register for CalSavers by June 30th of 2021. And businesses with 5 or more employees will have until June 30th of 2022. But keep in mind that once we open the program statewide on July 1st, it's actually open for all eligible businesses. So if your business is still up and running and you are interested in getting started early to help your employees save for their retirement, you're welcome to join at any time. And then I'll note one more time, for businesses with less than 5 employees, those businesses are not subject to the mandate and aren't required to register for the program. In fact, can't register for the program. But because of that individual enrollment feature, your employees or yourself as the business owner or contractor or gig worker can sign up for the program on your own anytime you want. Next slide, please. So really quickly, let me just go through the requirements or responsibilities for employers who do decide to facilitate CalSavers. Of course, you do need to register by your state required deadline and set up your account, but that's a really simple process of just going to our website, setting up your new username and password, and telling us a little bit about how you pay your employees and what pay cycle they're on, so that we can help you set up your payroll so that it works for your business. You do need to submit a roster of your employees. That's sort of the key to the automatic enrollment feature. Once we have that list, we do all the communication with your employees, so you don't have to worry about distributing forms or collecting opt-out forms. That's all done by the program. And then after that 30-day employee decision period, you'll start submitting the employee contributions for each pay period as part of your existing payroll process. And those are really the only two ongoing responsibilities for the employers: maintaining that roster and then submitting the contributions as part of your existing payroll process. Quick note on things that employers will not do. I said once before, but I'll keep saying it over and over again. You will not have any program fees as an employer. You don't have any fiduciary responsibility. You aren't allowed to make an employer contribution, so no matches allowed in this program, unfortunately. And then a couple of other things: employers must not encourage or discourage participation in the program, provide advice about investment options or taxes, manage investment options, process distributions, or manage any of the other changes that employees have to make, which, was designed on purpose because we wanted to alleviate some of that traditional administrative burden that comes with your typical 401k plan or employer-sponsored plan. Next slide, please. So just a really quick note about what the program is and how it works for your employees. It is set up as an automatic payroll deduction IRA. So contributions are deducted directly from your employees' paychecks and deposited into an IRA account that is in their name and they own at all times. Again, it's completely voluntary for your employees. They can opt out at any time or opt back in. And our goal was really to design it to be as simple as possible, both for you as the employer and for the employees. So for the employees, it features automatic enrollment. We've got some default settings that we think, we set up to be reflective and beneficial for people in various stages of their financial lives. But we do give savers the ability to customize their settings. They can choose their own contribution rate. They can choose their investments from our very small, simple set of investment options that we have available for the program. And then again, it's completely portable because that IRA account belongs to the employee at all times. It follows them anywhere they go. So if they leave your place of employment, chances are, especially 3 years from now when the program is fully rolled out, chances are they'll end up at another CalSavers participating employer, in which case after that 30-day decision period, their contributions will go right into their existing CalSavers account. If they end up somewhere where they are not offering CalSavers, say they have an employer-sponsored plan, the saver can move their money to the employer-sponsored plan. They can keep it, let it grow on the side, just ignore it, or they can continue to make contributions on their own if they choose to. And then I mentioned, that the program was going to be completely self-sufficient based on the fees that we charge the savers. So our goal obviously was to keep the fees as low as possible for the program. But just like any other, 401k or similar program, there is a small fee that the savers will pay in order to cover the administrative and the investment costs. But we're proud to say that, depending on the investment option they choose, they'll pay only, 83 to 95 cents for every $100 in their account per year. So very cheap, very competitive, and the price will only go down as the program grows. So if we could do the next slide, please. Before I open it up for questions, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how, we at CalSavers are responding to the COVID-19 crisis. One more slide, please, Noah. So for savers, for people who are already in our account or in the program and have accounts, we want, everybody to know that our goal is to continue to ensure the safe custody and investment of their contributions and the timely processing of account requests. But we're also seeing, as a result of this crisis, how really important it is for the public to have short and long-term financial stability, and our program was really designed for that. So number one, we designed the default as a Roth IRA, which we think is awesome for this situation because all of the contributions that employees made were done tax-free, and the Roth IRA allows for penalty-free withdrawals of contributions. So any employee that has an account with us that has some money in it, if they're experiencing hardship, they can actually withdraw their contributions without paying taxes or penalties. And that could be the difference of, keeping food on the table until, their unemployment check comes in or something like that. The other design feature that we're really proud of now is that, we designed the default so that the first $1,000 that anybody contributes goes into a money market fund, a capital preservation fund designed to protect employees' savings from the ups and downs of the market. So, we just saw the market take a tumble as a result of this crisis, but 85% of our savers and more than 75% of the assets in our program are all invested in our capital preservation fund. So they're not experiencing, the same market volatility that folks in other investment options might be. For employers, as we said, CalSavers is committed to supporting you through these uncertain times, offering extra support and flexibility, including extending the Wave 1 deadline, so you don't have to worry about figuring out how you're going to respond to this requirement during this crisis. Hopefully, we'll be well on the road to recovery before your business will have to worry about it. Unless the employer has an account with us, they can, in which case you can withdraw from your account without paying taxes or penalties. We just want employers to know that as we move forward into recovery, CalSavers will continue to be here to offer our simple way for your employees to save as they return to work, with no fees for you and no fiduciary liability for you. And I think that sort of concludes my portion of the presentation. So Noah, if you click to the next slide, that has my contact information. You can feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. I see there are already a few in the chat, but it also has other ways to get a hold of our program. Our website is calsavers.com. All of our socials are here. If you visit our website, you'll see ways that you can contact our local field representatives that can, reach out to your business and help provide any support that you need if you do need to connect with us for extra assistance. So with that, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Jonathan, this is Casey. Thank you so much for your presentation. Really appreciate this small business opportunity where people can save for their employees and their employers. Quick question. One of the questions is, if a small business owner has 4 part-time employees, are they and he eligible?
Yes. So, well, it depends. If that employer is considered an employee of the business and is collecting a regular paycheck, then yes, then they are eligible for the program, because when we're looking at your number of employees, it doesn't matter how many hours they work. So part-time, full-time, seasonal. If you're issuing an average of 5 W-2s per year, then you'll be eligible for the program.
Great, thank you. Second question, if an employer has an existing 401k program, do they need to re-enroll? If we wanted to end that 401k program, could employees' funds be transferred to a CalSavers program?
So to answer the first question, if you have an existing 401k program, you are exempt from the mandate. Most likely, if you haven't received any notifications from us that you need to register, then that means that we've identified your business and see that you're already offering that 401k program. If you do get notifications from us and you're sponsoring a 401k, there is a really easy way to let us know and just certify your exemption. Just check out our website or connect with me and I can walk you through it. We're certainly hoping that we don't see businesses ending their 401k. We're certainly not here to compete with plans on the private market, and there are a lot of great features of your 401k that CalSavers just doesn't have. But if that decision was made, then yes, employees are allowed to transfer funds from existing employer-sponsored plans to CalSavers. They might want to check with a tax advisor just to make sure that it's compatible, and they won't have any tax liabilities for doing so.
Wonderful. We have a follow-up question. Will there be an interest paid for the savings from the state?
That's a great question. So actually the state is not managing the investments. We've actually contracted with 2 investment management firms. We've got 5 investment options available. 4 out of those 5 are managed by State Street Global Advisors. And then our 5th one is our sustainable investment plan, because we thought it was important to have an option there that recognized how important it was to invest in environmentally and socially responsible companies. But that one's actually sponsored by Newton managed by Newton Investment. So yes, interest is paid on those accounts based on the performance of those investments.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any other questions, please go to the chat line, or if not, you can always reach out to calsavers.com for any follow-up.